These are the Comic Kings.
Yep, Charlamagne the God.
Gabe P.
We are the Comic Kings. We do these when we can.
It's 2020 now.
It's
Last
definitely
one we did
2020.
was at the end of December.
Was at the end of December.
A lot of stuff has happened since then.
A lot of things have happened, especially in the MCU.
We got a lot of comic book movies. It's like comic book movie every month now.
Let's talk
We're
about
about
it.
to get in there. So, have you seen the Morbius trailer?
I have not seen the Morbius trailer
Really?
yet. Only because Tyrese tweeted it out. If it would have came from anywhere else, I would have watched it.
I think I know who he's playing now. He's playing some type of government, like FBI agent type situation. But in the trailer, he had like this weird, thing on his wrist and arm where I don't know, it looked like he had a cybernetic arm. So but I'm not sure who he's playing 100%. I just know he's like an FBI agent type situation.
Where does Morbius fall under? I know it's part of the Spider-Man universe in a way.
Oh man, this is confusing. So Morbius is in the same vein as Venom, but it's also going to be a part of this new Spider-Man universe that they're building. But then at the end of the trailer, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, at the end of the trailer, Vulture was in the trailer.
Oh.
Like Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
And he was in the same jumpsuit he had in the prison scene at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh.
And he basically asked Jared Leto, he's like, oh, you tired of being the good guy? And then that's the end of the trailer.
So maybe he'll be a part of the Sinister Six.
So that's what they're trying to explain. They're trying to explain how like this is probably setting up the Sinister Six now that you got Venom, you got Spider-Man, and there's also
didn't Morbius bleed into the Blade world as well though?
Morbius does bleed into the Blade world because he obviously he's a vampire. And we have but this is why I want Sony and Marvel to be good, because then eventually we could get like a Morbius and Blade movie or have them together. But in that trailer also there was a picture of Spider-Man and it's had murder across it.
Wow.
So going into the Mysterio stuff and how he allegedly killed Mysterio. But the funny part about that picture is it's actually a picture of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, not
really?
Tom Holland.
So Morbius will probably So that is.
So Morbius takes place after Far From Home.
So it's part of the MCU then.
I guess, if you want to say it's part of the MCU.
I mean, you got Michael Keaton in it playing Vulture.
I mean, see, my thing is like Kevin Feige will never say it's part of the MCU, but what are they gonna do? Like at this point, it's like if we lose Spider-Man, then what? I think Marvel now is more afraid of losing Spider-Man than having to worry about Sony kind of letting Sony kind of play around in the corner of the sandbox.
I mean, I guess it's good that Michael Keaton is in the trailer playing Vulture though, right? Because it shows you that they're willing to play nice.
Yeah, I get it. Well, it's a Sony movie. Spider-Man was a Sony movie, so I think Sony can really do whatever they want. You know what I'm saying? Because like at the end of the day, like it was funny in the trailer, like from the studio that brought you Spider-Man, Far From Home, Spider-Man, Homecoming. Meanwhile, those are Marvel Studios movies. We know why those movies are great. And Venom, they present Morbius. So it's interesting because like it's part of the MCU. You could look at it as part of the MCU, but I guess you could also be like, it's a separate universe where things kind of happen. But it looks like that's what they're doing. They're trying to set up the Sinister Six now because you got the Spider-Man murderer poster. You got Michael Keaton in the movie now. You got Venom 2 in October. Who knows what's going to be in Venom 2 if Venom 2 is going to set up the Sinister Six even more. And I think we have enough villains now where we can do a Sinister Six. You could bring back the Shocker, the Tinkerer. Mysterio's definitely still alive to some extent. And then you got Spider-Man 3 coming out
Scorpion.
You got Spider-Man 3 coming out next summer now.
Oh, it's coming out. They moved it up?
2021.
Wow. I got to go watch this trailer.
It's actually not that bad. Like at first I was skeptical, but
I'm bad with offshoot movies of the Marvel universe. Like I never got into Venom. You know what I'm saying?
Venom was I wasn't a big fan of Venom.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to get into stuff like Morbius. Like it's just a little difficult for me to care, so to speak.
Why? It's still part. Well, I guess now you could say it's part of the MCU. Still, it's still to some extent.
Yeah, I think with what I'm seeing now, if like I said, if Vulture in it, I'll be more interested now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they also got well, speaking of like offshoots of the MCU, they also got like the Disney Plus series coming out soon. They announced that Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming out in August.
Yep.
Wandavision got moved up to October. And I don't know if you saw, but they actually came out with a poster of there's a guy, his name is U.S. Agent. He's going to be in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and there's a picture of him in his costume, and they actually took the shield away from Anthony Mackie.
And gave it to U.S. Agent?
And gave it to U.S. Agent.
Okay.
So what they're setting up is, and from what I've heard, is that the story for Falcon and the Winter Soldier is that the government's like, nah, we don't want Falcon to be Captain America.
Because he's black. Yeah.
They take the shield away from him, and then they give it to U.S. Agent, and they kind of put U.S. Agent out front as like their Captain America.
By the way, those storylines have existed in the MCU before. You know, Blue Marvel is one of my favorite, most underrated characters in the comic. I actually, Marvel has a Marvel had let me look it up because I don't want to say the wrong name. Marvel has,
because you did a new story with them and like a little
yeah, it's called the Voices. That's what it's called, Voices. Marvel's dropping the Voices comic book.
Congrats, that's huge. Because I know you've done stuff with them before, but it's always dope to.
Yeah, I've written 2 stories with them before.
The X-Men Christmas one, I believe, right?
I did the X-Men Christmas one last year with Storm. Then the year before that, I did one called The Radio Guy, which was just based off me being an Inhuman.
Right.
And
I didn't know you were an Inhuman in that comic.
Yeah.
That's dope.
I went through a Terrigen Cloud, however the fuck.
Terrigen Mist, whatever.
Yeah, Terrigen Mist, and became an Inhuman. And so this one, I guess I can say this, but I did Blue Marvel.
Amazing.
That's
so dope.
Yeah. I did Blue Marvel. So that was Blue Marvel's storyline.
Did you tell them that you wanted to do Blue Marvel?
Yeah,
they just kind of like gave you a bunch of characters.
They let you can pick whoever you want whenever you do these things.
That's so dope.
Yeah. So I chose to do Blue Marvel, just like I chose to do Storm before, and then the time before that I used a whole bunch of different characters.
Yeah, it was like a New Year's situation.
Yep.
That's dope.
Yep. So I think that'll be out February. Let me see.
That's dope that they let you pick out who you want though.
Yes. February 19th it'll be out.
I think you need to do a Miles comic. That would be dope.
I might do Miles. I want to get Blue Marvel back popping because he got so much dope powers, man. But I was saying all that to say, his storyline was the president when he used to wear a mask and his mask fell off and everybody realized he was black and the president said, "Yo, you can't be a superhero no more because the country's not ready for a black superhero." And so that's what he fell back. Think about that. Think about how somebody is so powerful, has all these superpowers, but white privilege, white supremacy is still the greatest superpower to where this guy would tuck his powers in to appease them. But yeah, so we've seen that kind of storyline before.
But I think that's a perfect storyline to go to because now you kind of have all these like not fake Captain Americas, but you have all these Captain America clones popping up. Yeah. Because you got Red Guardian and Black Widow. Absolutely. You got this guy, U.S. Agent. You have Falcon, and then you even have Bucky to some extent is a Captain America gone wrong, and even the Incredible Hulk is a Captain America experiment gone wrong because they try to replicate the super soldier serum and they try to make Hulk. So I think it's going to be interesting to explore like all these different types of Captain Americas and where they all pop up and whatnot in the show. I like it from the perspective of a lot of people don't feel like Anthony Mackie, I don't say Anthony Mackie, but Falcon earned his stripes to be Captain America. Right. Like they didn't flesh him out enough in the Marvel universe for you to be like, all right, that's the person who should have the shield. Like Winter Soldier. We've seen Winter Soldier get busy. We've seen him kick ass. We've seen him kill people. Like Winter Soldier is one of the best Marvel movies they ever made. Absolutely. I mean, yeah. I argue all the time. Top 3, top 5. I argue all the time that Captain America trilogy, because of Winter Soldier and Civil War, it's one of the best. One of the better trilogies ever. Trilogies, of course. You know, so Winter Soldier would have made way more sense to get the shield, and people would have respected that. Like I could see him as the new Captain America. Falcon, not so much, not yet. But this TV show is gonna. Might build it up to where you start rooting for Falcon. Like, oh, okay. And you know what? I've always rooted for Falcon because, you know, especially when they brought him in as Captain America within the last 10 years, because I think his like Captain America costume in the comics is dope. And I believe this is what's happening in this show is similar to things that he's faced in the comics, you know, when it comes to like people don't want him to be Captain America because he's black or, you know, he's not Steve Rogers. And I did feel at the end of Avengers Endgame when they gave him the shield, I was like, all right, this is cool. I'm happy that they did this. But also, like, did he earn it yet? Like, you know, that's all it is. He didn't earn it, and that's not a diss to Falcon at all. It's really more of a indictment of Marvel's story writing. Yeah, we haven't gotten a full like Bucky. We know Bucky. We got him fleshed out. We got like the scenes of him, you know, in the chair, getting his mind wiped. Civil War was about Bucky too, to some extent. Bucky had a movie. Bucky was the villain of an entire movie. Yeah, as much as you want to say Captain America, the name of the movie is Captain America: Winter Soldier. So it's like if you're gonna invest all that real estate into a character, why not give him the shield? You know what I mean? 100%. By the way, he still might end up with it. We don't know. You know, before they introduced Falcon, I always like I think when the first Captain America came out, I was like, yo, I would really love, because around the time that first one came out is when the Winter Soldier came out and was when he was introduced. And I was like, yo, I would really like to see the dude with the metal arm have the shield. But I'm actually really happy they picked Falcon instead. But it's going to be interesting because now he'll actually have to like prove himself as Captain America. And I'm sure this U.S. agent thing is going to be something that is going to blow back in their face. Absolutely. But also, I heard that they're going to, you remember Ghost from Ant-Man the Wasp? She was played by the British actor. Yeah. She's actually reportedly supposed to be in this show. And that's the rumor. And then might lead into a Thunderbolts series. Because the Thunderbolts, you know, the Thunderbolts are kind of like their Suicide Squad. It's kind of their Dark Avengers, Evil Avengers type situation. And they already have a few of the people who have been on the Thunderbolts in the show. They have Zemo. Zemo's back as a villain. They have Ghost, and then they're gonna have Everett Ross, who's also gonna be in Black Widow, and he's the Red Hulk.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I heard Black Widow sets up Thunderbolts in a real way as well.
Really? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. I don't want to misquote anything, but they said basically it's the Ross is in Black Widow,
and he's in a flashback scene too, because they de-aged his face in the trailer.
It says a Black Widow post-credit scene will set up a new MCU team, and is
Taskmaster's in the movie too. I feel like Taskmaster, they're definitely. I want to see Taskmaster stick around because I think his powers are he has some of the best powers in the MCU in my opinion, being able to copy anybody's moves.
Yep.
And in the trailer, you even saw when he did like a flip and he threw the cap shield and he's got the bow and arrow like Hawkeye. It's interesting because then you could also kind of tie that back into the history of the MCU into like how he got those abilities. You know, maybe he fought Cap at one point, or maybe he fought Hawkeye at one point.
But you got Ghost, like you said.
Ghost, yep. Everett Ross,
Winter Soldier, Baron Zemo, Ghost Rider, and they say all of them are already in the MCU. We haven't seen Ghost Rider yet.
Ghost Rider was on the TV show. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I know that they're kind of like back and forth with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff because they don't want to say it's like the Netflix show. It's like Daredevil. Like they say they're in the MCU, but they never really, the movies never acknowledge it. But I would like to see Ghost Rider pop up at some point. I actually think that Ghost Rider will pop up in like a Doctor Strange movie down the line. I think that would be more, that would make more sense. But I'm interested to see if they set up the Thunderbolts because the Thunderbolts is a really dope concept.
They said the post-credit scene, they don't describe what the post-credit scene is, but they said that the post-credit scene in Black Widow is going to set up a Thunderbolts movie.
And I think that would make sense with Taskmaster. You know, some people are saying that because you know we don't really know who Taskmaster is. There's this actor that they've casted in the movie who they don't really know too much about, but they're thinking that like Taskmaster might be gender swapped in this movie too, to be like one of Black Widow's, like another Black Widow, like a Black Widow will be Taskmaster or something like that.
Well, no, they said the character that Florence Pugh is playing.
That's that, or
she's supposed to be the new Black Widow.
She's supposed to be the new Black Widow, but then also her vest in the trailer is the same vest that she wore in Infinity War. There was this crazy theory that that Black Widow gets cloned or was cloned in this movie, and then the Black Widow that actually died in Endgame is like Taskmaster or a different Black Widow, and then no, it will be that Black Widow, and then Taskmaster when he or she takes off their helmet in Black Widow, it's actually Scarlett Johansson, and then that's how you keep Scarlett Johansson in the MCU.
I wonder if they'll start doing all of that type of shit.
But that's like really off. That's like bad. Like that shit's batshit crazy because that's something that, you know, Taskmaster's a guy in the comics. Like he's very like, you know his character. You know he's a guy. You know he's this and that. For them to do something like that where, you know, takes off the helmet and it's really Scarlett Johansson under the helmet and it's like Scarlett Johansson versus Scarlett Johansson.
Would Black Widow have been a Skrull?
Oh.
In Endgame?
Do you think so? I don't know.
I mean, if you look at Captain Marvel, Skrulls have been around for a long time.
And you know what? That brings me to another point because they've been talking a lot about Captain Marvel 2 recently and how Captain Marvel 2 is actually going to take place in the present instead of the past. Which makes a lot of sense because, you know, you got the Skrulls in Far From Home, but then you also have, you know, I think that the reason why they want to keep it in the present now is because you also have an adult Monica Rambeau. WandaVision is introducing S.W.O.R.D., which is the space version of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Monica Rambeau works for S.W.O.R.D. So I think that's the base that I think Nick Fury was building at the end of Far From Home. So I think that's how they're going to connect it all. Like Carol Danvers is going to work for S.W.O.R.D., and then somehow like the Skrull invasion is going to begin. So I don't know. It would be cool if Black Widow was a Skrull, but also I kind of feel like that would what's the word I'm looking for? That would kind of not make her death worth it anymore in Endgame.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if I would feel the same way if I'm like, oh, she was a Skrull the whole damn time.
But maybe that's why they didn't give it up like that.
What do you mean?
Because, you know, a lot of people gave Endgame flack because they were like, yo, they didn't really honor Black Widow the way that they should have.
Okay.
They didn't honor her like, you know, they did Tony Stark's, and, you know, you didn't even get a funeral.
I mean, I wasn't even sad when she died. I'll be honest with you. I didn't cry.
That's what I'm saying.
I wanted to cry. I was in the theater. I was like, oh man, I should be sad right now.
Maybe that was by design. Because everybody was saying that there's a couple of theories floating around that in the new Black Widow that comes out in May, you know, they're going to properly honor her death in that movie. But what if she really didn't die?
But it's in the past. How could they honor her?
I don't know. Maybe it's a post-credit scene. I don't know.
Maybe she is Taskmaster. Maybe there's just another Black Widow out there and she's Taskmaster.
Maybe there's another Black Widow. Who knows?
I think it's going to be interesting because I really do want to see how I feel like Taskmaster plays a bigger role in the whole MCU than like we think, especially because he has like these same power. Like somehow he's got the cap throwing, like when he threw the shield in the new trailer. He's got the bow and arrow. I really do want it like them to take off the mask and it's like Black Widow in there. I'm like, all right, cool. We get Black Widow a little longer. You know, Florence's character probably dies, and that's why she has her vest on in Infinity War. But I think Kevin knows what he's doing.
We're definitely gonna see Skrulls in Black Widow.
You think so?
Yeah, man. Because you had Skrulls in Captain Marvel, you had Skrulls in Spider-Man.
And I'm so mad
Far From Home.
Skrulls aren't evil yet. Like they make Skrulls, you know, look, you know, obviously.
Not yet.
Not yet. I mean, obviously they're the victims in Captain Marvel, and you know they were displaced, and you know that's like obviously like a bigger social problem that they were trying to address in the world, but. I really wanted to see this. Like, I was ready for Secret Invasion. Like, I want to see somebody in the MCU that we know right now be a Skrull.
Like, we're really forgetting the fact that at the end of Spider-Man, Far From Home,
Nick Fury and Maria Hill were Skrulls the entire time.
Yeah, that's kind of wild when you think about it.
Yeah.
And for them to show the real Nick Fury, I guess, like
in
you just
space,
said, setting up sword in space, like.
And like he never slipped up in the movie either. Like the whole movie, like. The Skrull like was in character.
Absolutely.
And it was a big actor playing the Skrull too. So I think it's crazy how Marvel's able to like get these people and bring them back.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it past Marvel.
And
that Black Widow be a Skrull.
Same. I think that would be dope. We also got some Doctor Strange news, which is kind of sad, but they lost a director for Doctor Strange 2 over creative differences. And I think it's because that they want to introduce a lot of characters in this movie. I think this is the same reason why other directors have left in the past, because like, you know, he wanted it to be a horror movie, but then you know, there's always the angle of they're like, all right, well, we're doing this movie, we got to set up like 3 other characters in the MCU. Like I heard they're trying to bring in America Chavez, you know, to have like the first like female Latina superhero in the MCU.
Okay, I need it to make sense. Like I always say, I don't want them just introducing minority characters for the sake of diversity. It needs to make sense. So how would this make sense in the Doctor Strange world?
Because she's from another universe in the comics. She's not originally from the MCU. I don't know too much about her character. She's still a remotely new character in my mind. But she's from another universe, so I think it makes sense kind of because if it's a multiverse, maybe like her universe kind of crosses over with this universe and they bring her in, or maybe she stays in her universe and she's just kind of there whenever they need her type situation. Because then that movie's going to be overcrowded as it is because they're going to introduce Brother Voodoo.
That I heard.
Who was the brother of the New York Sanctum guy that they killed. They got Brother Voodoo. Wanda's going to be in the movie because WandaVision's going to go right into that. I heard a rumor that Loki will connect to.
Really?
Yeah, because Loki's in another universe too. Loki takes place in the separate universe they created when he escaped with the Tesseract.
It would make so much sense for them to introduce so many different characters though. Because it's called Doctor Strange and Into the Multiverse or something like that?
In the Multiverse of Madness.
In the Multiverse of Madness, like, I say Into the Multiverse like their Wu-Tang album. But in the Multiverse of Madness, like, it would make so much sense because now you can show us what this world will look like.
Right.
Because as long as there's a multiverse, you can introduce X-Men effortlessly.
Easy.
You can introduce Fantastic Four effortlessly.
Easy.
Like, all of these people existed somewhere prior. Like,
Right.
I don't need them to take this one Earth here and try to make all of these things happen. Like it's an easy way to explain why we didn't see these mutants, why we didn't see you know, Fantastic Four.
Yep.
And I wonder, right, when Thanos did the snap, did it affect one universe?
Ooh.
Or multi-universes?
Ooh. That's interesting.
You know what I mean?
Because I think they said a small synopsis, I guess, from casting kind of came out about this movie, and they mentioned the time stone. Like Doctor Strange is trying to look more into the time stone. So I wonder if they're gonna, if somehow this multiverse thing might not bring back Thanos, but like they'll revisit the concept of the snap, you know, affecting more than just the MCU universe. I wonder how that's gonna. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's an interesting concept because, like, you know, I've always said that the snap could have awoken the X gene in people, and that's how we get all this stuff. But then also, how could the X-Men have been around for all this time and not done anything?
Exactly.
But you also have Eternals. Like Eternals is a kind of similar situation where they've been around for thousands and thousands of years, and now they're just gonna pop up out of nowhere after the events of Endgame, and now that they have to come out into the world and they have to, you know, do stuff. I guess because I guess whatever Thanos did.
The multiverse would make way more sense to introduce X-Men and Fantastic Four.
I think that they could just introduce X-Men and Fantastic Four whenever they want. Like you would be upset if they were just like, all right, they've been here all along,
yes,
but they've been quiet.
Yes.
Really?
Hell yeah. Especially after showing us Endgame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I get it, but
damn, where was y'all at using y'all powers to help save the world?
You know what I would really like? So New Mutants is coming out in April. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for New Mutants, the X-Men movie that's been like on hold for like 2 years. They made it. There are like reshoots, all this other bullshit with the movie, and the trailer for New Mutants finally came out. So it stars like a bunch of like famous younger names. The guy from Stranger Things, Macy, who was in Game of Thrones, and they play these kind of like offshoot mutants who aren't popular, but they're well known, and the New Mutant story is well known in the comics, and it's like more of a thriller horror story. It's PG-13. And it's interesting because when someone found a couple weeks ago that on one of the Disney websites, they said the first X-Men movie in the MCU under the description for this, even though, you know, Fox made this movie, whatever. But in the trailer, they talk about how the doctor that's interviewing these kids in this mental facility for their powers is talking about, you know, when did these powers first arrive? Do you know what they are? It sounds like a setup of mutants in whatever universe this is. But at the same time, we don't know if this is an MCU movie. No one said it's an MCU movie, but it kind of feels like it's a setup for something. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's like they're mutants. They're not the ones that we always see. They're not, you know, Professor X. They're not Nightcrawler. They're not Wolverine. It's this new batch of people, and it feels like they're setting something up.
Did you see the Patrick Stewart said he met with Kevin Feige?
I did see that.
Yeah,
that's sad, man. I mean, I wish, you know, I would like him to come back, but also I think it's time, you know. When it comes to separate universes, you know, you just got to kind of like pass the torch on to somebody else. You know, I think J. Jonah Jameson coming back, J.K. Simmons coming back as J. Jonah, I think that's fine because, you know, he's playing a different version of that character. He's more of a like an InfoWars kind of conspiracy theorist journalist instead of, you know, the head of the Daily Bugle. But Patrick Stewart, I feel like Patrick Stewart is older. I think he's past the point of playing Wolverine.
Yeah.
And I think, you know,
Professor X, you mean?
Professor X, I'm sorry. And I think that Logan was just such a beautiful, like, you know, it was just a good way to like finish everything. And the way he died was extremely sad, but it also was like satisfying at the same time.
Unless they have him playing Professor X in another universe.
Like a cameo type situation, maybe?
Yeah.
I think that could work.
Maybe. Because what you said just now, you said they showed the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, right?
Well,
I've been hearing rumors about that too.
Well, that was I think a mess up on their part because that was like a screenshot from the Spider-Man video game of the Tobey Maguire suit. So it was a screenshot from the video game.
Oh, got you.
And I think that might have just been a mess up on their part, or maybe they're trying to do something with that. But I also did hear about that how Sony's
might put all the Spider-Mans in a movie.
I think I've been saying that they should have done that. You know, I think Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland. Yeah, Tom Holland on the same like movie would be hilarious. And now you have Venom too. Like you just put all these people. I think a Spider-Verse movie live action is long overdue.
Because Miles is in the MCU, that we know.
Okay, would you want Shameik Moore to play Miles in a Spider-Verse movie?
Nah, because Shameik, unless I'm mistaken, I don't think Shameik is Puerto Rican and black.
Oh, okay, that's a good point. That's a fair point.
Miles is Puerto Rican and black. Miles, like, yo, listen, when I talk about diversity, it got to make sense, right? Like, Miles is a character that makes sense. He's beloved for that reason,
right?
You know, being a Puerto Rican black man, Afro-Latino, you know. So 100%. I'm with that being accurate.
I agree. I think that it'll be a cool way for them to do it, but I don't know if it'll be like just Sony made or if it'll be an MCU movie. But I do think that, you know, with Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse, you have a rare opportunity to kind of, you know, if he's going through the dimensions, you know, just show like little parts of all the other movies that have come before. You know, you own the Fox movies, show, you know, Logan, show Wolverine, show I guess what's his name, Chris Evans as the Human Torch. You
Absolutely.
know,
that'd be hilarious.
That would be so funny.
Yeah,
because that was supposed to be a post-credit scene in Deadpool where in Deadpool 2, Chris Evans was supposed to come back as the Human Torch, and I think Deadpool was like supposed to shoot him or something like that. He'd be like, "Oh, this is the wrong universe" or something like that.
Yeah, he did that in part 2. He went around cleaning up all the old MCU mistakes,
all the old storylines, and I think he killed Baby Hitler in that too, which is interesting because now they're doing Deadpool 3. So I'm interested to see how Deadpool 3, how they make that part of the MCU, because I think that, you know, at this point it's like, yo, if Ryan, you got to put Ryan Reynolds in the MCU now. You got to have Ryan Reynolds running around while all these other people running around. Like
easy. That's easy though.
How?
Because like it's so much satire and so much humor that goes into Deadpool. You could literally explain what he's been doing. All right, once again, it could be multiverse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he could say it like, "Hey, I was in a whole nother universe." That was, but then they wouldn't say that because they had the X-Men. Well, no, yes, that make perfect sense.
Because Deadpool never really, I mean, Deadpool fake crossed over with the X-Men and Deadpool too. It wasn't really a crossover. It was just like a little.
But the X-Men exist in his world, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They don't exist in the world of Avengers and everybody else yet. So if they were to do Deadpool, then they could easily say Deadpool was in another universe.
Right.
It's simple. Like the multiverse makes it so easy to add all these new characters.
And I think that's why Scott might have left. Maybe he was like, yo, I want it to be a scary personal movie about, you know, his fear and trauma. And they were like, nah. They're like, we want this movie to be bigger than Civil War. We want it to be where we introduce all these people. We're not just introducing Black Panther and Spider-Man. We're introducing America Chavez. We're introducing Deadpool. We're bringing Loki back from another dimension.
That's a lot.
I think it's possible though. It's like you know, we're not getting an event movie for another couple years. You know, we're like 3-4 years away from them doing anything again with a bunch of people.
Yeah, I'm thinking right. Secret Invasion probably has to happen this
decade,
right?
Yeah.
You won't get to Galactus till maybe next decade.
Like,
bro. For
like,
real.
No, yeah, because you got to wait to set that up and.
Yeah, man, Galactus is like a big bad.
Galactus has to be like, that's it. We're ending the MCU after this. Like after Galactus is like, we're done. There's nowhere else for us to go anymore.
It makes sense though, because if you start introducing Skrulls and you start introducing the cosmos,
right?
You know how at the end of all the other movies they would show Thanos and he would just be watching.
He'd be like, yeah, it'd be like a different scene with Thanos every movie.
You kind of got to do that with Galactus too, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, they never introduced Thanos.
Yeah, they did.
No, they did.
What do you mean?
Like they never set up who this Thanos guy was.
That you're right. He only had like the little thing where
they would just show him at the end.
And even then, they had no idea what they were going to do with him because they did a bunch of different things. They did the thing where he like grabbed the gauntlet, and then you find out there's 2 gauntlets in Infinity War, and then they're talking about death and Avengers.
Grabbing the gauntlet was like the second or third post-credit scene.
Age of Ultron. That was in Age of Ultron, and then Avengers was just the one where he turned and smiled at his like his guy that was talking to him.
That was the first one?
That was the first one. That was Avengers 1. The second one was the gauntlet, and then Infinity War.
See, I think that's dope. Like everybody's talking about all of these, ways that they have to introduce Galactus. No, they don't. All they got to do is introduce the cosmos.
100%.
So when they introduce the cosmos, you're going to start seeing this Galactus dude pop up at the end of movies. Or you might hear people start mentioning him. Eternals may mention Galactus. Like, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like,
and you know what? Eternals is possibly I think that's the thing I'm looking forward to most this year. Eternals or WandaVision. Yeah. I can't decide which one I'm more excited for. Falcon the Winter Soldier, I'm cool with. I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to like the Thunderbolt setup, but I think like I'm ready for them to do something different.
I'm happy for Falcon Winter Soldiers because I'm finally getting my most out of Disney Plus. I haven't enjoyed Disney Plus yet. My kids enjoy it thoroughly.
Yes, and I know you're not a Star Wars fan, so you haven't gotten to enjoy that.
I got a 1-year-old, 4-year-old, 11-year-old. They love Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. They all in. I have not got my money's worth because, I love the Marvel catalog, of course, but I signed up for Disney Plus for all these new Marvel shows.
That's what I said. I said, why'd I pay for a year when I could have just waited till August to get Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Might as well warm it up, though.
But WandaVision is looking to be like the craziest one because, they're going to set up all these like young heroes too. And then, you hear the rumors of like an Ironheart. You hear the rumors of the most recent one I heard was Hulkling. So Hulkling is
really?
Hulkling isn't like Hulk. He just looks like Hulk. He's a Skrull who he like leads an invasion in the comics into Earth. I could be mistaken. Somebody let me know if I'm tripping. He leads the invasion and then when he eventually like becomes friends with the people on Earth, he starts to admire Hulk and then he like kind of takes Hulk's form and Hulk's his look. And then he eventually he's one of the first LGBTQ characters in Marvel Comics where he starts dating Wanda's son, Wiccan, who they're introducing in this show in WandaVision. So I think that could bring, the Secret Invasion, Hulkling could be a part of that. You have Wiccan right here. You have Speed, who is the kind of like Quicksilver shoot-off, which is Wanda and Vision's kid. Then you could have Ironheart. You're going to have the Hawkeye series eventually. You're going to have Kate Bishop.
What's up with that? I heard they put Jeremy Renner on ice.
I think they disputed that. They said it was indefinite, but I don't know. I think it's still happening, but it might just not happen right away. They have so many other shows though. You know, you have Miss Marvel, you got Moon Knight, She-Hulk is all coming.
Absolutely.
I think that the logical thing is they're gonna do Young Avengers, but Young Avengers might be like their Disney Plus thing. So that way it like appeals to kids and appeals to, you know, people like you and me who want to watch this Marvel stuff, and then keep like, you know, the big movies to like the big screen, you know, like 2022 we're going to get like Captain Marvel 2, Black Panther 2, and probably Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So you'll get those in the theaters, and then like you'll get like kind of like the Young Avengers stuff on Disney Plus.
That would make sense. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that they could do just for the TV show. I would rather see Riri Williams as the TV show.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Than a movie.
I think you need to flesh her character out more through a TV show than a movie. I feel like a movie wouldn't do her justice.
Yeah.
Because you also have to explore, you know, the...
How do you do Ironheart now, though?
What do you mean?
Because Tony Stark isn't around.
Well, Tony Stark is dead, but, you know, Happy Hogan's still around, you know. But I know Gwyneth Paltrow has said that she's done with the MCU for now, but, I mean, you know, a check always, you know...
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I haven't read. I read the Riri Williams comics now, but if I'm not mistaken, it's Tony Stark's AI.
You were telling me that a little while ago.
That guides Riri, but I don't remember if Tony was alive initially or not. I don't recall.
Hey man, look, Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. just made a bomb, man. He just made Doolittle. I think if Marvel came to him, was like,
Lord have mercy.
Marvel was like, yo, you wanna just do these voiceovers for us? We'll give you a couple mil. I'm sure he'll be like, you know what? You're
Why
right.
not?
I'm not going back to doing Doolittle.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Robert Downey Jr. is amazing. But he's not a star without that Iron Man suit.
100%.
Not a box office draw without that Iron Man suit.
But I think an Ironheart series is perfect, you know, especially in this time. And like, I think if they did it the right way, they could have all these different Iron Man characters come in. Rhodey could come in. You know, I feel like we haven't gotten an idea of what Rhodey's gonna do next, because I know they wanted to make him the vice president of America in Endgame, but they didn't do that. And I think that Don Cheadle, like, I feel like he's not done yet.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to give him a movie originally back in the day, but then he never got the movie. I mean, I would watch a War Machine TV show, or
I would definitely watch a War Machine TV show.
Or maybe he'll be like Riri's mentor. I feel like that would be a good look too.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, in the comic books, and people that's watching this, correct me if I'm wrong, in the comic books, Tony was in a coma.
For a while, yes, he was.
And that's how, somehow or another, but he left the AI for Riri to follow. I don't know. Or his conscience.
His conscience went into the AI.
I don't remember exactly what it was.
The comics are so hard to follow sometimes, because then you have like the offshoot comics, and there's like a lot to go around. But I also want to talk to you about Eternals.
Talk to me.
Because Eternals is like, I don't know. I know you don't know a lot about Eternals. I don't know too much about Eternals. But Eternals, aside from WandaVision, is what I'm looking forward to most this year. Not the Black Widows, not the Falcon, the Winter Soldiers, not any of the DC stuff. Eternals. Because they keep talking about how Eternals is going to span thousands of years of Marvel history. They're going to introduce the deviants, and Thanos is a deviant, or is half deviant. He's like a half breed. And I think that like we're gonna see some crazy shit in this movie, because they're gonna show Celestials. You're gonna get some Guardians of the Galaxy vibes in there. You're gonna get some real sci-fi action. And Kumail Nanjiani, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He just finished shooting, and he was talking about how like this is the most sci-fi movies out of all the Marvel movies. And I don't know how you are with sci-fi movies.
I like sci-fi,
but I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited to see how the universe started, how these Eternals came to be, and why the hell that they've just been quiet this entire time.
I'm definitely interested in that, and I'm interested in anything that connects the dots to the cosmos in a real way.
Yes.
You know, because I mean, it's so much going on, and it seems like it's so effortless. I know it seems like it's a lot going on in the Marvel universe right now, but effortlessly, you can introduce Secret Invasion. Mm-hmm. Effortlessly, you can introduce Galactus.
100%.
Because it's going into the cosmos, you know what I mean? So yes, there's a big bad out there that's not named Thanos. You think Thanos the only bad guy in the universe?
Of course.
You know what I mean?
And Galactus is also a Celestial, if I'm not mistaken. I think Galactus might be a Celestial too. Okay. So I think this is like the perfect way for them to. I
thought Thanos was.
No, Thanos is an
Eternal.
No, Thanos is a deviant, is considered half deviant. So the deviants were like, so when the Celestials created the Eternals, the deviants, think of the deviants as like the opposite of Eternals, and they're like the bad guys.
Gotcha.
And that's who they have to fight in this movie. And Thanos is considered a deviant. So that could explain why they're all coming out of hiding. But the real, I heard that, the real star of this movie is Kit Harington. He's the main character. He's the human perspective of this movie. He plays Black Knight. I know we talked a little bit about Black Knight and all these different things, but there are actually reports that, think of him as like a King Arthur scenario where he gets this I think it's called the Ebony Blade, and then he becomes Black Knight and all these things like that. And in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they actually show the country where he become the country that that Black Knight is from and the sword is from. So you might get a little Falcon Winter Soldier connection to Eternals, and then vice versa. And you'll see Kit Harington become the Black Knight, and then he eventually, I think he also has led the Thunderbolts and like this X-Men team in the comics as well, in a comic called Excalibur. So like there's like a lot of different things.
I remember Excalibur. I didn't read it, but I remember it.
Yeah, Black Knight is in there. So I think it'll be interesting to see how I feel like Eternals is good. Eternals could set up X-Men. Eternals,
think
yeah, because like they've been around for all these years. They could talk about the X gene. I feel like there's a lot of different ways that they can go about it, and there's like a lot of dope people in this movie.
Do the Eternals go through different multiverses?
They just go through different periods of time. They said that this movie's gonna span thousands of years.
Interesting.
I think it'll be good. I think we'll be able to like see all these different things within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and maybe we'll even see Namor because the Deviants destroyed Atlantis at one point.
Really?
Yeah, I found that out the other day. Somebody tweeted that they tweeted like this comic book page of like the Deviants destroying Atlantis and them like attacking and then something with Namor in it. So I think that this could be a way that they could set up Namor if they don't put him in Doctor Strange or Black Panther.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, it's gonna be a very interesting time. I just really think that the multiverse is gonna set up everything so perfectly. What do you think about Incredible Hulk?
You know what? I'm here for it. I heard
Marvel
that
buying the rights back from Universal.
Well, I mean, was it confirmed?
Yeah.
I think it was like one of those things where it was like confirmed, but there was no like official statement.
Hold on. No, it wasn't an official statement unless I'm tripping.
Marvel saw Doolittle and they're like, yo, we can't let y'all do this to Incredible Hulk.
We cannot let y'all do this to Incredible Hulk.
Please don't ever disrespect Incredible Hulk like that again.
Nah, if I'm not mistaken, it was a...
I did hear that though. I don't think it was ever fully confirmed, but I know that they definitely touched upon it.
Hold on, I know I saw it. This was a while ago.
Yeah, because I remember, I think you showed it to me before Christmas.
Hold on. Marvel buys rights of Hulk.
Marvel buys rights to Hulk.
Yes, Marvel has reportedly bought the rights back from Universal for the Hulk and Namor, so they can now use him in a solo MCU film. That was from January 5th, 2020. I think it might still be a rumor because some people are reporting it as a fact. Some people are reporting it as a rumor.
Well, we definitely know that Mark Ruffalo met with Kevin Feige about where the future of the Hulk should go and what they should do with the Hulk next. What would you like to see done with the Hulk? Because I know you have some thoughts.
I would like to see Marvel buy the rights from Universal.
Okay.
I think that it doesn't make any what they did in Endgame. What they did in Endgame with Hulk was horrible. What they did in Infinity War with Hulk was horrible.
Oh man, come on! I like Endgame Hulk. I like Smart Hulk.
I don't like Smart Hulk only because he didn't really play a role.
He didn't get his rematch with Thanos. That's my one gripe with it.
Yeah, and like, yo, you got to know, like, in a situation like that, like the Endgame, Hulk should have been super savage.
A fact.
You understand what I'm saying? Like literally everybody that was an original member of the Avengers got a moment. You know?
Yeah, even Hawkeye got a moment.
Even Hawkeye got a moment.
Hawkeye got the Ronin moment.
Yeah, even before the Roman moment, Hawkeye had the gauntlet and
he was running around the gauntlet.
Running around the gauntlet like Hulk didn't really have a moment. Like, yo, you telling me Hulk's biggest moment?
Time travel.
Yo, Hulk had to get saved by Ant-Man?
Oh.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't like how they handled him. I don't like how they handled him in Infinity War either. Like, it was. Listen.
Now that you mentioned the Ant-Man thing, I'm upset.
I would have been fine with Infinity War if we would have got the return of Savage Hulk in Endgame, and he got his moment with fucking Thanos up or something like that. Because there's no way in hell you're gonna make me believe that a young Thanos with no Infinity Stones can take on Captain Marvel, Thor, and Hulk.
Yeah.
Like, nah, man. Nah.
You know what it should have been? It should have. Now that you mentioned the Ant-Man thing, it should have been like Hulk right there should have just snapped, gone into Savage mode, and broke out the thing, and then Ant-Man comes out with Rocket and War Machine.
Even him destroying, even the arm being destroyed.
Yeah.
I know the Infinity Gauntlet is powerful, but Hulk has repairing abilities as well. Like.
Yeah, but I think with the Infinity Gauntlet messed up Thanos' arm too.
Yeah. But even
with one arm, he still could have given Thanos like the business. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still feel like that could have been a cool moment.
And his arm gonna be like that forever moving forward?
I think so.
That's whack.
I think so.
See what I'm saying? Like, that's whack. Like, to me, that is so whack. Like, you can't just throw away the Hulk like that. That's the Hulk at the end of the day, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think their biggest problem is because they didn't have the rights. I think if they had the rights, maybe they would have done a little bit more with him. They could have brought, well, I mean, at least they brought General Ross back. Thank God for that, because he's been great in these movies.
yeah.
But I wish that they had the rights back so that way they could make like a proper Hulk movie. We never got to see the leader come back because the leader was teased at the end of The Incredible Hulk. Where's Abomination? Apparently he's still around somewhere. You know, you have all these characters, and like the fact that General Ross still isn't Red Hulk yet still bothers me.
And then listen, the fact that if that rumor is true, that they quietly bought back the rights to Hulk and Namor, because look, let's not forget they referenced Namor in Endgame.
They did reference Namor in Endgame, and you know what? Like, you know, I've said this every episode that we do. Namor for Black Panther 2, man. If Namor is not the villain of Black Panther 2, I'm going to be extremely upset. Or if he's not in Eternals or Doctor Strange, like, you know, like there's so many different ways that they can introduce Namor at this point. I feel like they need to do it. They got to cast a good person to play Namor, and we got to get the ball rolling with Namor and the Hulk and get them back, you know, back to some good writing and some good looks.
I agree. We got to get Namor in the MCU. Period. But I mean, listen, and Marvel doesn't throw nothing away.
They don't.
Everything is done for a reason.
Well, now they don't throw anything away. Maybe like 5-6 years ago, they
did.
They threw away the 10 rings, but now the 10 rings are back.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Back when somebody else was running the show, but now they're they're cooking, and we got a lot of dope stuff coming up to look forward to and talk about. And man, soon we're gonna have a Marvel show every week.
And you know, it's crazy. Some in-game writers actually said that wasn't their intention.
What wasn't their intention?
With what we thought was the Namor reference.
Oh,
but.
Yeah, but you know they run with, like, it's like when in Iron Man 2 with the little kid with the gauntlet.
Yeah.
And then one day, you know, when Spider-Man, when Sony and Marvel were playing nice with each other, Kevin Feige was like, fuck it, that kid, that's Peter Parker with the Iron Man mask and the fake Iron Man gauntlet.
And that's the second time they referenced Namor.
What was the first time?
It was in
it was in Iron Man 2, right?
Iron Man 2,
the map,
when they showed the map, and they showed like that spot in the ocean.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of the ocean, because it was like where all the superhero activity was, and they showed that spot in the ocean. That was supposed to be Namor.
Yeah, because they also had the spot in Africa where Wakanda's allegedly located.
Absolutely.
They probably just won't make a Namor film because they don't want it to be they don't want to have to go head to head with Aquaman and Jason Momoa. That's like a fight that they don't want to pick. That's why they'll probably just keep him. They'll probably just do what they do with the Hulk, where he'll be like a side character, or he'll be here or there. But I think the Ultimates are coming. You know, we're gonna get different teams. You're gonna have Avengers, Ultimates, Young Avengers. I think that's all gonna happen. You know, Captain Marvel's gonna be in space, hopefully leading the Ultimates one day with T'Challa. That's my hope. You'll have Young Avengers. You'll have another cool thing, and I know we're running out of time here, but real quick, Midnight Suns would be cool. Midnight Suns is like this kind of mystical team of people. So Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider, Punisher, and who else was on the team? Moon Knight. Moon Knight was also on the team for that. And I heard that that if they were going to keep any two characters from the Netflix shows, they were going to keep Daredevil and Netflix with the same actors. Daredevil and Punisher. Sorry, Daredevil and Punisher will keep the same actors.
Wow. It's a lot, man.
It's a lot. I know. We got a lot to talk about. Soon we're going to have week-to-week MCU shows. And
absolutely.
It's going to be nonstop content.
When does that start? May?
August.
Well,
okay. Black Widow comes out in May, and then April's New Mutants. But starting in August, every week you're just going to, you know, it's going to go Falcon, Winter Soldier, then into WandaVision. And then during that time period, you're also going to have Eternal smack dab in the middle.
Oh, that's going to be beautiful. We could do weekly shows then.
And then we could even just do quick, like 5-minute recaps of the episode, what we thought, what we liked, what we didn't like. And I don't know, it'll be fun. And that's why I'm kind of excited for the week-to-week thing, because I like being able to digest it and then be like, all right, let's look forward to next week now. Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
appreciate you, Gabe.
Appreciate you, Charlamagne, as always. It's the Comic Kings.
It's the Comic Kings.